Thank you all for being here today, and welcome to my talk about the lessons learned from creating Machine Operator 2.0. The AWE asked me to give a presentation about this product we're currently developing, but also to tell you a little bit about the hardships that we faced, and the lessons that we've learned, and what we feel are the key critical success factors of implementing augmented reality into an enterprise situation. So that's what I'll be talking about for the next 15 minutes. Enjoy. So let me first tell you something from where I'm from. I'm from a company called WEMO. We are located in the Netherlands, and we design and build production lines for the manufacturing of sheet metal products. So basically we create these long machines that turn sheet metal into pretty much any product you can imagine. Think of air ducts, steel doors, lockers. You can imagine it, we probably made it. So you have to imagine that these production lines can be very long, several hundred feet long. And we have these consoles placed somewhere around those lines, and you need those consoles to control the machine. Now, if you're a machine operator, this is a less than ideal situation. Because whenever there's work to be done around these machines, it usually involves a couple of walking to and from the console. So that's all just wasted time. Another problem the machine operator faces has to do with the fact that all the information that he needs is scattered. Some of it is in his head, some of it is in a user manual, trainer manual, and some of it is in the console itself. So again, walking towards the console. So we at WEMO were trying to look for a way to centralize all that information and also to make it instantly available for the machine operator so that he's not dependent on its proximity to the machine or the console itself. So what we created was an application that allows the machine operator to see everything that needs to be done around the machine. So think of a production schedule, think of a maintenance schedule, pretty much just a to-do list for him, and also he can have the information on how he should do those tasks. There's also a functionality where he can actually see what the real-time status of the machine is, so he knows what to do next. And he can control the machine from pretty much everywhere in the world, as long as there's an internet connection. And if these functionalities aren't enough, if there's something wrong with the machine for some reason, something so wrong that the machine operator himself can't fix it, there's always the possibility to use remote assistance and to talk with one of our service experts. So, like I've said, this is something we're still working on, we're still developing. We're this close to having an actual sellable product, which will be, well, our biggest achievement by far, of course, but it doesn't really mean we haven't done anything or we haven't achieved anything in the meantime. If you just look at all the results we've already had with the controlled settings, basically we can simulate every situation a normal machine operator faces in a normal day. And the results are amazing. They're absolutely, truly amazing. There's also the fact that we are now recognized in our industry as a genuine disruptor. And the fun thing is we also get a lot of recognition from the AR industry and also a lot of recognition from the UX industry. So we're all pretty humbled and pretty thrilled and honored that we get all these awards and nominations for the work that we're doing, and we're not even done yet. So that's pretty great. So now that you know where we are, let me just now take a couple of minutes to tell you how we got here and what problems we faced. It all started with a vision we had. Some of you might have heard that we are currently undergoing our 4th industrial revolution. Industry 4.0, maybe a term you've heard before. And basically what it means, every industrial revolution was a major game changer, something which rapidly increased the productivity of a factory. And, you know, this is generally considered a good thing, you know, because increased productivity almost exactly equals increased revenue. But there's this downside, this big trade-off nobody really actually wants to talk about. And that has to do with the fact that no matter how high-tech your machine is, it always needs people. You know, there needs to be someone to operate the machine. There also needs to be somebody who can maintain that machine. And when the sophistication of a machine goes up, generally the usability of the machine goes down. So when you look at a production process, you can generally see that it's actually a chain. You know, you got the process itself, you got the machine, and you got the people. And the people are starting to become a liability. They are starting to become some sort of weak link in that chain. And, you know, that shouldn't be, we at Wemo believe. Because, you know, it's almost unnatural. Most of us here would agree that an employee would be like your company's biggest asset. So why would you try to make life hard for your company or for your employee? Why would you try to make his life less enjoyable because of his hard work he has to do? So we set out to make the machine operator the strongest link in the chain again. We wanted to give him tools so that he can do whatever he needs to do. And basically, until last year, we never heard of the AWE. So independently of them, we said to each other, you know, we should give them superpowers one way or another. So it's really fun to see that we weren't the only one who thought of that. And just for some results, we found out that during our initial testing up till now, that they can do more complex jobs, they can do it faster, and they also can make less errors. So we're really giving them superpowers. You should see their faces when they're trying this for the first time. It's absolutely amazing. So, you know, we had a vision and we had a mission, so we started to write up this business case, and we really found out that we were onto something here. We really had the idea we were sitting on gold or something. So we wrote up the business case and we pitched it into our organization internally. And, you know, expectations were high. So we were absolutely shocked to hear that nobody believed in our idea. We were absolutely flabbergasted. I mean, we're starting to doubt ourselves. Could this be us? Could we be so wrong? Did we make a mistake somewhere? So we started going through our business case again and again, and we found nothing wrong with it. So we started to look at some of the objections they made, the people in our organization, and we quickly found out it all came down to the fear of the unknown. So this was actually great for us, because now we had a plan of attack. We could just go Google for some case studies, you know? We could just Google some cases and then see what their added value was in other enterprises, and then just show the results to the doubters, and they'd be convinced, and we could go on with our lives. We could continue this project. It would be so easy. Right, yeah. So let me remind you that this was almost 2 years ago. So when you start to Google for added value of augmented reality in enterprise situations or solutions, you probably wouldn't find anything. So we couldn't find any actual numbers. The only thing we could find were demos. So, you know, we want to have this sometime in the future, or visions of what, oh yeah, in the future it's all going to look like this and it's all going to work like this, but nothing that was actually being used in day-to-day life in businesses. So again, a very big problem for us, because how could we still prove that this was a pursuit we're following? So we went back to the drawing board and we tweaked our message a little bit. So first we wanted to prove this was a safe bet, you know, so oh, if you do this, you know, it will probably be okay. Only now we turned it around. You know, we said, well, we have this golden opportunity to be the first in our industry to do this. It's an amazing opportunity. Nobody else is even thinking about this. And just imagine all the possibilities, all the advantages that we could have. You know, we could be recognized as disruptor. Well, that's one thing. We could also have all this free exposure and stuff when we were, and well, we could really get ahead of our competition. And all we need to do is take this small chance. And you know, if we went wrong, well, at least we've learned something. So this was a very entrepreneurial angle. So we also decided to talk directly to our CEO itself. And he loved it. We were absolutely thrilled. It was so exciting. And well, he loved it. He even came with some suggestions on his own. So, well, you should probably do this and this next. And that's when you know that you have people on your side, when they start to think with you instead of against you. So we were thrilled. We were happy. We could just go on with our project again. Well, we immediately ran into another roadblock because we knew that we needed to do something with AR. This could only be done with AR. Only the AR landscape is pretty confusing from an outside point of view. I mean, there are all these things, and when do you use what, and how do you use it best? We had absolutely no idea. So we had to admit that we needed some help from the outside. We needed, or the inside, I should actually say. We should get help from somebody who was in the AR industry, a company that could help us. And that's another big problem, because if you don't know something about AR, how can you recognize a company who is good with AR, right? So we thought long and hard about this, and we decided to be very strict. So we had these 3 rules a company should follow, and the first one is that they should only be focused on AR, because that's how you know that they're actually experts and they're not doing it as some sort of side gig. The other thing was that they should be doing this for at least 5 years, and it was 2 years ago, so we knew that was a pretty big threshold, yeah. Like 99% was immediately gone after that. But 5 years, because that's how we knew that they would be successful with what they were doing. And third, and this was also kind of a decimator, it's they actually need to have done a project where they added value to a company, not just some sort of marketing demo or whatever. No, they actually needed to have something that was being used day to day. It took us a long time before we found actually somebody, but after a while we found this company called Twinkles. They were here on stage earlier today, and they checked all the boxes, and it didn't take us too long to partner up with them. And then something amazing started to happen, and it's something I believe every enterprise solution needs. And it has to do with the fact that we had 100% of expertise on all the relevant fields. We were, our company is 50 years old, so we knew everything there was to know about our industry. We knew more than any other outside or AR company could ever find out. And on the other hand, we had our AR partners, so they knew everything there was to know about AR. So we gave them our mission, we gave them our industry information, and they managed to turn that into magic. And well, the rest is history. Now I'm standing here talking to you. So we're nearing the end of the presentation, but before I start to answer any questions here, I wanted to share some lessons that we've learned. The first one is actually a pretty simple one. It's to have an actual vision and mission. Because if you only want to do something with AR in your industry just because it's cool, that there's a big chance you won't really succeed, because there are all these big obstacles, and you really, and if you want to endure, you really need to believe that there's something worth pursuing down the line. And there's also this, how do you say, there's also the risk that you just create a problem just so that you, now we can finally use AR because we found this problem, But that's not actually a problem that's worth solving. So you might have your 50 minutes of fame after you launched it, but after a while it will just be a waste of money. Yeah, I'm not sure you're going to like this one, but you really need to be sure that you actually need to use AR, because we've seen so many projects where they actually had a problem and they solved it with AR, but it could also have been easily done with a mobile phone app. So you have used this great piece of technology, but it's still a subpar solution. So you don't want that. And even if you do have an actual problem, and even if AR is the best way to do it, I'd still encourage you not to focus on AR itself too much, but more on the added value. Because I agree with everybody here, AR is the next amazing thing. It's this great piece of technology. But at the end of the day, it's still a tool. And people don't care that you have a solution that was made with an awesome hammer. They care about a solution that has actual added value for them. Thank you for your time, and if there are any questions.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Jordy. If there are any questions on the Slido app, we can pull those up. Nope, no question on Slido. Question from the floor.
How do you deal with safety issues on the floor with AR?
Can you repeat the question for me?
Yeah, of course. So the question is, if you use AR in a factory or something, well, a factory is always a hazardous environment. And how can you safely use AR without endangering your employees? And that's actually a very good question. What we're using right now is the black cockpit principle. So basically, you can wear the goggles, but you don't see anything unless you really need it. And there are some safeguards in place so that you can't just walk into a machine while it's fully running and you're actually doing something with glasses. So we really thought about it, and it's it's just pretty much thinking with common sense. You know, using
Experience and the
using common sense. So it's hard. I mean, because if you want to control the machines, you also need to really know that it works when you say stop, that it actually stops, and not that just because your Wi-Fi is down, somebody's getting crushed inside a machine. So you don't want that. So yeah, it's really something you need to think long and hard. But because every situation is slightly difficult, it's hard to give a general answer. So if you have anything more specific, find me after the talk. Sure.
All right. Perfect. Thank you very much, Jordy. We have to move on.